Many shades of pink and black health. Many shades of pink and black health, where good health equals long life.
Welcome to the Many Shades of Pink and Black Health radio show on KBOKradio.com. I am your host, Wendy Sherrill, breast cancer survivor and advocate.
And I'm your co-host, Dr. Susanna Follow, a retired family physician.
Our topic today is 1619, National Celebration of Black Women.
And our special guests today are Cheryl Johnson, founder and executive chair, Jacqueline Sherman Rustin, co-founder and event chair, Annalise Pipkin Allen, local outreach and fundraiser. Ladies, welcome.
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
We're really excited to have you guys here on our show, and also we're just excited just to learn about this organization because it represents Black women. So we're just going to just dive right on in, and you guys just tell us about yourselves and your families, and who wants to go first? Who wants to go first? You want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
My name is, and I know you said Cheryl Johnson, and I typically go by that, but Cheryl Mallory Johnson is what I'm known as here in San Diego area, and also as an author. But I am from Los Angeles, California, straight out of South Central Los Angeles. I came here by way of marriage to Rudolph Johnson, who is the CEO and president of Neighbor House Association. And I've lived in San Diego for 30 years now. I graduated from Texas Southern University, HBCU grad. Then I went to San Diego State and earned my master's degree in social work.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, my name is Jacqueline Sherman Rustin, and I have been in San Diego since I was 3 years old, so I think that makes me a native. I have been married 36 years to Carl Rustin, love of my life, and I have 3 daughters. I call them 3 she-devils, actually. and I have 11 grandkids. Ooh. So, and I'm not telling their ages because then that will give mine away.
Absolutely.
So, I went to school here, really have lived here all my life. I moved away periodically to the Bay Area and came back, and my immediate family, I am the oldest and I'm the only girl, and unfortunately all of my immediate family are deceased. So yeah.
Okay. And you were one of how many?
3.
3, okay.
One of 3.
Brothers. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Miss Elise?
Oh, I'm Elise Pipkin Allen. I came here as a Navy brat. My father had left Seattle, Washington. He was in the Navy. We lived in Washington, in Bremerton, and Kirkland, and Tacoma, and Seattle. He moved here to San Diego in the blah, blah, blah. And, and once my mother and her sister got here, they decided that they were not going to go anyplace else because the weather was so beautiful. I'm from Gulfport, Mississippi. A lot of my family left Mississippi, and our migratory line was Mississippi, Memphis, Tennessee, Chicago. So we were the only ones who were out here because my dad was in the Navy. I went to school here. I graduated from San Diego High School. I'm a caterer. And then I went to a number of colleges. Sometimes I left because I had things to do, and sometimes I left because they wanted me to.
That's a story all in itself,
right? Yeah, finally ending up at San Diego State. I worked for a lot of nonprofits in my life. I worked for the Black Federation. I worked for Neighborhood House. I worked for Mexican American Opportunity Foundation and Project Job, which was a nonprofit that we went into the prisons and jails and tried to ensure that when people got out that they would have jobs. And then I went to the county, and I've been back and forth up the county for maybe 2 or 3 times. The last time I went back, I stayed for 20 years, and I've been retired for about that long. I'm looking at her because she knows everything about me. Right? She knows everything about me. So after retirement, I just got into political type stuff because that was my passion, trying to ensure that people in our neighborhood had good public schools and he provided all the public services that everyone else has, and that's been a continuing battle. Right now, and I have 2 children.
Yeah, you forgot all about them.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about a lot of things until I heard you. But
I have
correct.
2 sons, and I have 4 grandsons, 1 granddaughter, and 1 great-granddaughter.
Oh, okay.
And I tell my kids, even if I'd had them when I was 10, I would still be old.
All right. Okay, ladies, thank you. Tell us why you guys started the 1619, the National Celebration of Black Women organization.
I'm going to defer to you since
the
you were
founder.
the originator, the founder.
The founder.
Well, I knew, which many African Americans don't know, that 2019 marked 400 years since the first African captives arrived to this country in the year 1619. So I knew that it was an important year upcoming, and I was inspired to bring together a group of women to put on this event because Black African American women, as you know, are not recognized for our contributions in building this country. And I thought this was a great opportunity in the year to do it. We're 400 years now and counting. 500 years, none of us will be here, and we would miss another opportunity to recognize Black women for building this great nation. And so that was a vision that I had, but you can only have a vision, and it takes a village to bring it forth. And I was blessed to have co-founders who came in and just took it on and are just as passionate as I am about recognizing African American women, our extraordinary contributions in this country. So that was the original vision.
When did you come up with that vision? How long ago?
Actually, I came up with that vision this time last year, and I sat on it for a minute because I was very nervous about it, and I thought, okay, now God gave this vision, if you don't do something about it. And I called in a few women. They didn't know why they came to my house. I had some great food, and I had a little notepad. Okay, here you go. And I have an idea. And the minute I said it, they were excited, and I knew. Then we had a second meeting of women in the community that we knew would help us pull this together, and Elise was in on that meeting. But by then we had just developed a little bit, the foundation of it. So then we brought in, we thought, some heavy hitters that were going to help us get this moving. And thank God we have Elise on our team, and we also have B. Kemp on our team, who has helped us get our nonprofit status, we is amazing. We got it in 4 months.
Wow.
So that was a blessing. And so that's how it got started, and we all dived in. And I think it's been, 6-7 months since we've gotten this far. We really
March, I think.
It was March when we got
March.
together, but when we really started going was like June, July.
Okay.
But we were doing little small things. So the fact that we've gotten this far is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, it is.
So, Ms. Jacqueline, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, yeah, there's certain people that ask you to do something, and you just know that it's going to be about something. So when Cheryl called me, and I was really honored to be asked. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and had I known, I may not have played such a big role, and more in the background. But anyway, I'm just glad I did. And, Cheryl's a quality person, and when she talked about it, she had so much passion about it. I was just honored to be asked. So here I am.
So the original, I think before I ask Elise, the original group that you invited to your house first was how many?
There were 4 of us, so it was Jackie Sherman Rustin, Paula Jones Owens, and Elise, Alice Kennedy, and then we also have Cynthia Keeve.
And those
so those are the original
core.
co-founders who are still active today, doing their part
And so the next meeting, when you included, at least how many more were included in that group?
I think we had about maybe 4 more women that came in, and then we had several of them there that took it on.
So it's a total of how many?
About 10 or 12?
Well, now we've grown so much because we have a huge committee that Jackie put together for event committee. Everybody brought in so much great support, and it's amazing. We got about 25 women now
That's awesome.
who are really, jumping on, and we have actually volunteers who have put in the application, are waiting for us to call, and they want to be part of the event
awesome.
day. So we are blessed to have so many people who are passionate.
Well, I know that Sis and we want to be a part of the event day because it's really, really, I'm excited about it. I really am. And so I want to ask, what is 1619? What does it mean to you guys? And can you tell our audience, just break it down for our audience so they can understand why this day is so important for Black women?
I have a relationship with Cheryl. Her mother-in-law is my best friend. So when she called me, it's like there's some people when they call, it's like you just can't say no.
Yeah.
And she had never called me to do anything before. I'm saying, what is this? So once I got there, and once you hear her story, and once you really learn that this was 1619 was the day that Africans who may have been kings and queens first hit this country and became slaves.
Right.
And that was in Jamestown, Virginia. So my great-grandmother was an enslaved person. So that's how it hit my heart.
Okay.
Because 1619 reminds me of her struggle. And then the opportunity to work with Jackie and Cheryl and the other women, it just gave me a passion for it. I work really better by myself. Jackie can hold the committees. I just work kind of by myself because I'm kind of uncontrollable. I've been trying to stay in my lane.
At least we here.
We're grateful she's out of her lane. We need her
Not that I'm
everywhere.
not a team player. I just need to be the leader of the team. So it reminded me of my great-grandmother and my grandmother and my mother and the struggles they all went through to make me
Who you are.
Who you are today?
It's our
Yes.
strength. Yeah.
Anybody else want to speak about why, what is 1619 and why it's so important for our Black women of today?
Well, as Cheryl said, not many people even know about 1619, and I was definitely one of those people
Me too.
until I got involved with this, and it with this project, and it really made me look into our past, and some of that journey has been very painful for me because we were subjected to unimaginable, horrific things. But, like I said, doing my research, I realized, too, that as Black women, we don't get recognized enough. We don't learn about ourselves in school. Even in my day, which was long ago when I was in school, but even today, we're not taught. Our students are not taught about our past. So it was just important for me to be part of something that was uplifting and empowering for African American women. And, quite often, we're not so kind to one another. And I've experienced quite the opposite in being involved with this, and I don't know if it has to do with your aura over everything because you are so positive and so uplifting, but just the connections that I've made. I've met so many new African American women and gotten to know you, even though I've known about you for years. But it's just been such a good experience.
And that's awesome. That's awesome.
And I wanted to add. Oh, did
So
you
we
want
can,
to?
what we can do is hold that thought. We'll come back to you. We're going to take a small break now,
Okay,
and then
great.
we'll be right back.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'm a breast cancer survivor.
We are honoring our heroes.
I'm here today because of Susan G. Coleman's Free Mammogram.
We are pledging to save lives. We're passionate about bringing the services out to the community.
We are providing free mammograms. We are providing hope.
We are more than pink.
Made possible by Anderson Plumbing, Heat.
Welcome back to the Many Shades of Pink and Black Health Radio Show.
And our topic today is 1619 National Celebration of Black Women. So, where we left off, we were just going to share something with the audience regarding, I believe, how you feel about 1619.
Right, and what's important to know, now we talk a lot about black women, but we also have to think about black girls who do not know much about their history, as we talked about, is not taught, and they are not often seen as victorious, and this celebration is about recognizing not our defeats but our victories, and taking a moment in history to honor ourselves. And let me just say, we are so often conditioned, I like to remind us not to take a moment to honor ourselves, but because we are conditioned to be nurturers, because we came here taking care of everyone, and we continue to take care of everyone. So the very idea sometimes for people to stop and honor black women is surprising. Like, why honor black women? And there's even a tendency for black women to say, well, what about black men in the process of honoring black women? And of course, we want to honor them too in this year at some point in time, because we have all contributed greatly to this country. But this is Women's History Month.
Yes.
And we are honoring women at that time. So I want to really emphasize the importance of us taking a moment for ourselves, and then changing the consciousness of the nation about who we are, that we are not welfare queens, but queens.
Absolutely.
And so that's what's so important about this. And the more we can push it across the nation, this is not just a local event, this is a nationwide movement that we want everybody to get involved in. Then we make enough noise to get enough attention that the media now has to take a moment to honor who we are during Women's History Month. So that's what's important about this event.
Can I just add something also? You know, we do take a lot of time honoring famous people.
Yes, we do.
You know, and sometimes too much, you know, in terms of their contributions. But this is giving us an opportunity to honor ourselves, you know.
That's right.
And, you know, our local sisters, you know. So that's another thing that I really like about being involved with this project.
Yeah, and we think about the contributions African American women have made, and we talk about even those that are nameless that we don't know. We know Sojourner Truth, we know Harriet Tubman, but we don't know the women who Dr. Sims mutilated their bodies and experimented on them in order for us to establish the first women's hospital for women in this country. And I know,
Henrietta Lacks.
Henrietta Lacks, which many of us don't know about, and that her cells continue to advance medicine, as you know, Dr. We don't consider them. We don't consider all the African American women who were bred in this country to build the wealth of the nation, in which everybody continues to thrive and get to come here and thrive. And we have not honored them in this country. And that's why this is imperative for me, and I'm sure all of us, we understand that it's monumental.
Right, and getting back to the local women that do so much, and just, you know, I call them boots on the ground, and just making sure that everybody is, you know, they're on the ground, they're providing their time. You know, again, we always pouring into others, and we don't pour into ourselves enough, and we have to make ourselves priority. You know, and this is one of the reasons why we have so many different diseases. You know, we don't even understand that. You know, we have to make ourselves priority in order for us to take care of our families. So I'm all about the local community. I know Sis and I, we constantly out in the community. doing what we need to do to service the underserved. And a lot of people, they don't know about it, but we're not doing it to get accolades. We're basically doing it because this is what God, He gave us assignment, and we answered, responded, and say, hey, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to continue to do it. So I think that we do need to honor the local people that are boots on the ground and not so much of celebrity status, because they get honored all the time.
And so I really consider all of us to be unsung heroes.
Yes.
Heroes, and so we are sheroes. So what you guys have pulled together is really awesome, because we get to celebrate and honor each and every one of us, because we're all doing some awesome things in the community
Yes.
for our sisters and brothers and for our community. So, kudos to you guys for coming together, working well together, because the reputation is such that we can't get black women together and be productive because we're always fighting. But you've just shared that you've met so many wonderful sisters in there that you feel like you have another, a new family there where you can work well together and be passionate about something and move it forward with excellence.
Yes.
And including
The
you.
thing that I
Dr.
like
Paula.
about the program so much is that it's not talking about our struggles as much as it's talking about us today.
Our strength.
Yes.
It's talking about our strengths and our
Yes.
good things. And it's talking about young girls
Yes.
who will say, oh, I didn't know that happened. I didn't know. It would make them start thinking about maybe majoring in Africana studies, because when I went to school, they didn't have it. And so whatever I learned, I just learned by reading and talking to Dr. Weber and people like that. But the positivity of it is, and all of these women, is what attracted me. And I've been waiting to meet you for a long time.
Yeah, we and I wanted to mention too, and I didn't say this because I didn't want to. Who else was in the room on the second round? Also was Andrea Dixon was there, and then
Dr. Bonnie.
Dr. Bonnie
Reddick
from San Diego State.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes,
Powerful
yeah,
women in that.
right, exactly. So I wanted to make sure that I recognized.
And in a way, this is also about health. Because when you honor people, who normally aren't honored, it makes them feel better.
Absolutely.
So it's a mental health thing that I think black women carry with them all the time.
Right, and it's all about empowering women and recognizing them, because like you said, we don't get honored on a regular basis, and it's good to
Well, I do, but
actually.
maybe you guys don't.
Well, and I'll always like to add too, when you talk about health and health of African American women and African American people, and one of the healing, I think, aspects of this is that we are victims, as we know, we've been victimized, but often, I don't want to say perpetrators or people who victimize are empowered by watching us mired in our own victimization. And what I love about this is that we're seeing our strengths. And I think about, it makes us start thinking when you talk about your grandmother, that's where your strength came from. When I think about my mother was married at 16, had 4 kids and divorced by 21, a single mom, put herself into nursing school at UCLA, and now had her own business for 40 years, and has her PhD. And who would know that? This gives me an opportunity to honor my mother and my strengths, and think about my grandmother and how strong she was. And so it stops and it allows all of us, even young girls today, to look at their own parents and say, "Wow, I am strong," and we are survivors.
And come from strength.
We come from strength. We are survivors. We continue to survive. We continue to lead the nation in so many wonderful areas, civil rights and suffrage and all the things we've done. And that's something to honor and stop and say, yeah. Absolutely. We are powerful. We're
And don't
powerful
forget
beyond
about all
measure.
the black women who are in Congress now. who
I
go
was
to
just going to
office.
say that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're the base of the Democratic Party.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
yeah. So my next question is, what are some of the barriers you guys encountered thus far within creating this organization, and what do you predict that's going to be the barriers in the future?
Well, for me, it's a short time. It's just
Okay.
time. You know, there aren't any other barriers because I'm so passionate about the program, but it's just rush, trying to get money here, trying to get somebody to be our partner here, trying to get somebody to support us here. And they said, oh, well, yeah, because when you apply to big companies, they said, well, yeah, we'd like to support that, but it has to go through.
And you haven't been around long enough. Actually, you haven't been around long enough.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and that is one of the barriers, is sponsorship. We need the support. We're at a place now where we're saying we need the community to come together and support for this event to take place. We have had wonderful people come through, individuals who donated, SEG&E donated, and Planned Parenthood donated, and we have the support and donations of Neighbor House Association, and so many wonderful people. Actually, you can go on our website. We have a donor page, and the
website is beautiful.
we celebrate everybody who does donate, and then people who donate, who's given just $50 a week, $20, everything will help us in this process of celebrating and honoring Black women. So no amount is too small or too large.
But to answer your question too, I don't think there have been really a lot of barriers, except like you said, if we had maybe 6 or 7 more months to launch this. But other than that, you know, every time we tell someone about this project, they're overjoyed about it. You know, they want to know how can I get involved. So yeah, there haven't been any barriers.
And despite that barrier of time, you know, I'm always inspired when I think about even the Women's March or Black Lives Matter, how they were able to mobilize the nation in 3 weeks. And so I just keep trusting the process of God to say, you know, He gave me this vision. And it will be successful. And so we just move forward. So even our small, do we have many small barriers? Not a lot. We just, you know, it's just time and having and wearing many hats of us trying to get it done, and then with the support of those around us. But we all have taken small bits and pieces of it and done some amazing work in a short amount of time.
So I'm just curious, because there's about 25 or so of you guys working to make this happen. I know you're retired, and are some of your other people retired so they have time to commit to this, or everybody's juggling that around a job and a family and everything else like that?
Well, I'm semi-retired.
Okay.
For 20 years, I managed a teen leadership program under Price Charities, and retired 3 years ago. And I just recently, with a good friend, started another youth program. So at Fulton Elementary. So I'm juggling between doing that, creating the program, doing the curriculum, and going and meeting with the kids, and doing this.
Wow. So you have 2 full-time jobs right now.
I do.
Because you have a deadline on this project.
Yes.
You know, that you have to see through. And then are some of the other people full-time?
Well, we don't have everybody on board yet, because we're like the primary, and then we have people doing the smaller things. But for me, contrary to popular belief, being a writer is a job. And so when you say, well, Cheryl doesn't work, I'm like, I do. And I made a major sacrifice, because my novel was supposed to be out, my sequel was supposed to be out in December, but this is so much more important. And I write when I can, and I get it in, and I have people waiting.
It's like me.
And so I do that, and then I'm in between adjunct professor, and I'm in between jobs with that. If that's a job, I never call writing a job. It's my passion. I can live off of writing. So that's what I do. So I'm sacrificing putting out my next book. This is what I'm doing. Yeah, and I write when I can.
And even though I'm retired, I tell people I work harder now than I did when I was working, because I'm the vice chair of APAC. I belong to so many organizations.
Every time I see an organization's name, I see your name is on it.
My name is on all the time.
I know, you're so active.
She wakes me up
every meeting's a day.
Wow.
I tell people, once you retire, if you don't follow your passion, what are you going to do? There's only so many trips you can take. There's so many places you can go, and after a while, it just comes back to being of service to others. And that's just kind of who I am.
Yeah.
Well,
you're busy.
the question is for our audience is, when is this big date? You know, we've talked about, 16, 19. So when is the date? So that our audience can put on their calendar.
Well, mark your
March
calendar.
2nd.
March 2nd. So we are 44 days away, I think, at this point.
Okay.
There's a countdown on our website.
Okay.
But this is, and I want to stress the importance of that this is a nationwide movement and a local movement. So March 2nd here in San Diego, we are the pioneering city. We're having an exciting event, which is scheduled to be at Rural Park. Many people don't know where Rural Park is. I think they've only been around for like 3 years. I think.
So where is it?
It's off the.
You probably passed by it a
And
million
don't even
times and
know
don't
it.
even know it. It's at the north end of Seaport Village, the last little part
Before you
just
get to
before
the-
you get to the fish house or the
Right.
fish market
Where it
and
used to
the Midway.
The Midway. And
I
so-
actually have seen that part because it's a part of the bike ride, the
Yes.
walk and all that other stuff. So you go right past it.
So it's between the fish house and the
and right
Seaport
after
Village?
Harbor
Yes.
Drive, and we're having, prior to that, we're meeting at the furthest
It's the-
end of
yeah.
the convention center, right before the Hilton on the corner. I think it's Park and Harbor Drive. And
Right.
we will gather for a celebratory walk to Rural Park. So we're going to start there and then walk there. And then the event starts at 10 o'clock that morning. So we're asking people to come and get there by 8. We're going to walk by 9:30. And it's a short walk, but it's about 20 minutes.
Right.
And we want to make a joyful noise. And then we will conclude with festivities at Rural Park. And that will go until 1 o'clock program-wise, but we're asking people to if they want to stay around. And then for the nationwide push, we are asking people to go to our website at 1619 National Celebration Black
We'll
Women.com.
have you to do that
At the end. Okay,
Yeah.
and it has the list of all the ways in which you can join the celebration across the nation.
Okay. So this question is for you, Elise. What do you think that we can do better as women in the Black community to work together?
I work together.
I know work
Basically,
together,
yeah,
but what
yeah.
are
I've always worked with women, and I enjoy working with women, but I know there's always a lot of talk about, well, I can't work with women, I'd rather work with men. There's a lot of talk about Black women not being able to get together and work together because of, I don't know, jealousies, whatever. But what was your question?
So basically, I was asking what can we do better as women?
Be more patient with each other,
working
trust
in the
each other.
African American
Yeah,
community,
trust each
working in
other.
the Black community.
Trust each other, protect each other, look out for each other, have each other's back. Some of us do that, but then there's still a lot of unsettled jealousies. That's what I think are problems. But I think just trusting and helping each other will help us out a lot.
And I think that's another raising consciousness moment, which is that we were conditioned to do that as well. And so when we know that, then we recognize that we do better. So we were pitted against one another, and we are still, operating in a slave mentality. That
Pitted against ourselves.
Of ourselves.
Right.
So when we understand that, then we can begin to forgive ourselves
Right.
for falling into those patterns.
And that's the
because
history that people don't know.
that's a history that people don't know. Is
Right.
that's,
Especially young girls.
Right, right. And collaborating with one another like we're doing now, and supporting one another, particularly in San Diego, because it's not enough of us. And if we can, support one another. I've been like out of the loops for a while because I don't live in San Diego, in the heart of San Diego. I live in the Chula Vista area, and so and then I was raising my kids, and so I was more focused, and I'm connected a lot through the Neighbor House Association, of course, and all the events and all the wonderful things they do in San Diego. But it's so great now that I'm back and connected, and empty nest, most importantly, and able and have the time. And I'm excited, and I met so many wonderful women, and now know about so many wonderful organizations and movements that are happening right here in San Diego. So,
Well, I asked that question because I wanted it to, I contribute to the 1619 movement, you know, because back then they worked together. That's how they got, you know, they achieved everything, and that's how they got things done. It seems like today, and the reason why I brought it up is because I'm not from here, and I didn't know about a lot of the different black organizations in San Diego at all, because, you know, I never really came to this area. And, you know, until I started servicing the African American community, that's when I started learning about all the different organizations. And I have to say, I was very, very impressed. But what I'm not impressed with is why they all can't come together and service each other and help one another.
well, I think we're fighting over a small piece of a pie, and it's so much to go around in San Diego, and a small community of African American people to draw from, and not just in San Diego. We're talking city-wide. We're talking San Diego, Chula Vista. We all, you know, countywide. And so we have to take that into consideration. Is that how do we work together, and how do we share a piece of pie that is quite small, and actually, you know, being eaten away in this community, because we're losing a lot of African American people who are leaving the city.
Yes.
So that's something we need to do.
I think personally, we've just had experiences by doing things together in the community and not feeling supported by our own people. That I can see where people would want to quit and just give up, because we're doing it from the heart. And it's like, well, you know, why do this? We're being attacked by our own people. We're not talking about the white person, right? We're talking about our own people. It's like, okay, well, we're here to serve. So they think we're here for the wrong reasons when we're not. They think we're here to make money or do something or whatever, which is not the case. But so we're trying to figure out how to take another approach, because they have a mindset that we can't change right now.
Right.
We can just continue to be present and to continue doing what we know is right, what God's asked us to do. And eventually they'll come along, meaning they'll see that we don't have a hidden agenda.
Right.
We're truly here to serve. We're not asking anything of you. And that's what we're trying to figure out. How do we get in the system, continue to serve them properly without being attacked by our own people?
Right.
That's right.
And you know, that mindset really shows that we're still connected to slavery.
Right.
You know, very much so. You
Well,
know,
Elise is second generation, third generation. I think we're fifth to sixth generation. We're not far removed from it. We're not removed from it.
Right.
But we have been also conditioned to believe that it was a long time ago.
Right.
And
get over it.
Right, and that doesn't doesn't impact us, and we know that, and that's really what this movement is about too, to recognize that it does impact who we are, and it impacts us in a negative and also a positive.
Jen, how has black women, how do you guys feel, has black women grown and changed over time?
In terms of this movement, or in general, this
And
period?
just in general, this movement, the overall.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the ability to go to school, the educational system, because there was a time when we didn't go to school, and there was a time when we were just in segregated schools. So a lot of it has to do with women being educated and being exposed to different experiences, maybe travels, things like that we couldn't do in the past. The thing that's sad about that is when I entered school, I could read, because that was my family's philosophy.
Right.
And now people leave some of the schools, depending on your zip code.
That's
And
true.
there could be a student in that school, and then they get to college or community college and they fail. So those kinds of things still happen. But I think education and experiences have helped us a lot.
I agree.
I agree.
But for me too, as an African American woman and African American in general was attending an HBCU, historically black university, made a lot of difference for me.
Makes a difference.
It made a lot of difference for me. I grew up in Los Angeles, and the first primary years of my life, I was raised in a predominantly white community because my mother attended UCLA and we lived in that area. And then we moved to South Central when she purchased. My mom purchased a home there, and so I grew up there from the time I was 7th grade. And so I had a culture shock, and and I had to, find out who I am. And I think I found myself when I went to Texas Southern University. And so
That's why I
came back more connected with who I am.
It makes a difference.
Yes, and it makes a difference. And also to be part of a community that is oftentimes a lot more cohesive when you have a community that are dominate the community. And so that was very impactful.
My daughter's experience, I chose to, she was born and raised here in San Diego, and I chose to send her to one, and I have to say that it was the best thing that I ever done, because she's a very diverse individual, but they made her feel like she was somebody, and that, and it made a difference in making them, you are an African American woman, but you have to be great, and we talking about better and extraordinary, and to go out, they prepared, they really prepared her. I was just like, is this my child?
And we hold ourselves to that same standard.
Right.
We unfortunately hold ourselves to that same standard that we have to be super women and supermen to be considered good.
Right.
So our kids have that pressure, and I know my daughter's experiencing that because she's so excited to be part of, lives in New York now, and she has so much culture around her.
Yes.
She lives in West Harlem, and she's so excited. She said, "Mom, I'm around so many African American people, and it's good. I like walking and being amongst African American people," because she doesn't get that from living in San Diego.
Absolutely. Right.
We're so spread out, and we don't really have that.
But when I was growing up, you had to be twice as good to get the same job.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So we were taught all the time that you have to be twice as good.
Right.
Or
And
three
so
times.
that's what-
3 times.
Yeah, well, we were taught you have to be twice as good.
Yeah, triple threat.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I was working with people when I had a degree, but I was working with white women who maybe had a high school diploma.
Yes.
And they could get promoted faster than I could unless I worked really hard. So
But
that's
has
why
much
you
of that
had
changed?
It hasn't changed. I don't think that it has changed, because
Not significantly.
I'm just going to say that they expect us to work more harder and more than they do. And before we can even get a raise or anything, they can come through the door and get a raise before we can.
Or get a job.
Right. So,
And that's why, this is a good opportunity to reiterate the importance of this celebration, because we need to remind the nation of what we've done and who we are.
we are
Yeah,
queens.
and not just the nation. This is a global. It'll have a global impact.
Right.
In ourselves.
I was just going to say, it's important that as we do it for everyone else, we really need to make sure the women are paying attention.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we still have to work with them, live around them in the community. And if they still don't have the mentality of celebrating themselves and the women around them, we're going to be back where we started from. So I really hope that we can address and touch the lives of the women that are important to us in our day-to-day lives. And then, of course, we want it to be big, but if we get it big, we lose the point of it here, we're still where we came from.
You want it to be big.
Yeah, so we want it to be big. It's important, but we want to make sure that the people here that we deal with every single day actually get the message and understand we need to celebrate each other and not tear each other down.
Yeah.
So I think, we have a couple minutes. I do want to, Elisa, I'll let you finish your thought. We want to kind of give some final thoughts on it, and then we're going to, because we have some announcements and things to make, but I'd like for you to make your comment, and then we can kind of wrap up and make sure we hit the high points on the celebration,
Okay.
Why it's important and
Website
stuff
and
like
everything.
that.
Sure.
One reason that I really like this program is we're doing something big in San Diego.
Yes.
But if you live in Gulfport, Mississippi, where I'm from, you could just have a gumbo party.
Yes,
As long as you know it's about celebrating Black women.
That's right.
You could have, the city council could do a proclamation.
Yeah.
You and your husband would take a ride around Central Park.
That's right.
Just so that he's celebrating you. So it doesn't have to be a big parade. It doesn't have to be anything big. It just has to be something purposeful.
And awareness. So we really want to bring awareness to everyone, no matter how they celebrate. So some cities, if they can get it together, organize and get a march or something, a gathering in a park. But if it's not, like you said, the awareness that it's there and they can celebrate on that day, even if it's just your own family or just,
And
you know,
just
a
talk
neighborhood.
about,
That's
talk about the women in their family.
Exactly.
You know, it could be a storytelling.
That's
Somebody
right.
could tell their grandkids, this is what your grandmother did.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
This is why we're celebrating her today.
Absolutely.
And what we're encouraging people to do to get it out, even though they don't have an event, is to post on social media. So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
take a stroll around the park, talk about it on social media. Hashtag 1619 NCBW. Hashtag I am 16. Buy a shirt and wear that.
Right, I am
One of the
1619.
things, I am 1619, and we're asking people to do that. We also are kicking off our 1619 challenge. I am 1619 challenge on February during Black History Month, in which we are asking people, and we'll put out a video to do a short testimony about what it means to be a Black woman and how Black women have influenced your life, and hashtag I am 1619 or hashtag 1619 NCBW, and that starts to get the word out around the nation. So most importantly, it's really wonderful. Events are fantastic, but we know everybody can't plan an event like we've been able to do, and we understood the hurdles of getting that done.
She doesn't believe
Well, she says it. And so we want everybody to take advantage of social media and to post about what it means to them, what 1619 means to them, and that's the quickest way to get the
word out.
recognition by the nation of who Black women are and what we have done.
And tell the women, how can our Black community and Black women get involved with 1619? Can you give the website, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into our announcements.
Okay, so the website is 1619 National Celebration of Black Women.com, but we are also on Facebook at 1619 NCBW, Instagram 1619 NCBW as well. So you can find out information about the national celebration and the local celebration by going to our website. If you want to attend, which we hope everybody will, the event here in San Diego, there is a link on our website where you can get a San Diego event with all the specific details.
Okay. So we're going to dive into my event of the week, and it is Destination Greatness. It's time to release the self-doubt and throw out the people who's not on your team. Let them go play somewhere else. Because well, I'm saying for them to go play somewhere else because we're too precious for games. We really are. And greatness is only for serious people. So playtime is over. Be a better you.
Amen.
And Dr. Zay, health tip of the week, which you just threw on me today, of course. But very simple. I mean, I believe in health, obviously, and I try to live it. I would just like to tell the audience that the most important thing for me to share with them right now is starting this new year is try to decrease the processed foods that we eat and go more natural. Incorporate more fruits and veggies in your diet and water. I mean, our body's made up of 70% water. We do not need to have sodas and juices in our system. So more water, which of course gives you good skin, but also fruits and veggies. So put down that processed food, please.
And our next announcement, since you want to do our announcement.
Yes. So for all of you guys that have been following us for the past 2 years, we have been in the community doing work. Our next community outreach event is going to be different. We're starting next month, but I just want to let everyone know that we've relocated. We used to be at the big lots right here near us on Federal and Euclid, but we've moved to a venue that's going to help to serve more people in our community. So it's going to be at ECC, which is the Educational Cultural Complex. It's at 4343 Ocean View Boulevard in San Diego. We're starting our first event on February 6th. and we're still going to have all our vendors out there, 30 to 40 vendors. Obviously Kaiser Permanente and Susan G. Komen are some of the main stakeholders to help bring their mobile vans out to not only serve the community, but there's so many other vendors out there that are supporting the event. The good thing is at that location we have the students there, which are all ages and diversities, and also disabled students go there, so we can serve that. But we're right in the community, so there's houses across the street. There's a bus stop that stops right in front of it, so we're going to get more visibility, and I feel we're going to be able to serve more people in the community. The other partner that's there that's going to be big is also Feeding San Diego is there. They're going to bring their truck and they're going to give fresh produce out for hundreds of people. So it's going to be a bigger level than we had before. We had produce, but we could only go and pick up so much and bring back. So we would give, maybe 100 to 120 bags of produce, but we're hoping that there'll be several hundred people there to not only focus on their health and the resources available to them, but for produce will be there. So people that are lining up to get their free distribution can then now service their needs with the health fair at that point. And I just feel it's going to be bigger and better this year. God asked us to kind of move it, and we did 2 years at Big Lots. We served our need there, and now we are going to go to ECC. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be the first Wednesday of every month now instead of the third.
Yes.
So, and it's still going to be 10 to 5. So we're there all day for anyone that wants to pop in and get their blood pressure checked, get their blood sugar done. There's HIV testing, Hep C testing, flu vaccines, free mammograms on certain months, but obviously Susan G. Komen Circle of Promise will be there every month to sign people up so we can get mammograms done and bring that van down. We're trying to do it every other month.
That's wonderful.
Okay, and our next event that we'll be at is the third annual Hornets and Friends Cancer, Diabetes, and Mental Health Awareness event, and that takes place Saturday, February the 9th, from 11 to 3 at Lincoln High School, and that address is 4777 Imperial Avenue, San Diego, California, 92113. Free mammograms will be offered at this event. For appointments, email me, Wendy at sdcoleman.org. And that's about the end of our show. And you've been listening to the Many Shades of Pink and Black Health Radio Show. I am your host, Wendy Sherrill, breast cancer survivor and advocate.
And I'm your co-host, Dr. Susanna Follow, retired family physician. And I just want to thank our special guests, Ms. Cheryl, Ms. Jacqueline, and Ms. Elise, for coming and sharing about the 1619 National Celebration of Black Women. It's an awesome thing. We're going to be here to help support you and promote it. We're hoping that people are going to check out the YouTube and make sure that things are, that they have all the things that they need. But thank you for coming and sharing your time with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. And again, ladies, thank you for taking your time and sharing your program with us. Audience, thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. on KBOKradio.com. Visit us and like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Many Shades of Pink and Black Health. For more information on breast cancer, visit the Komen San Diego Circle of Promise, and that website is www.comensandiego.org.
And learn about A Healthier Me, a lifestyle change program at www.ahealthiermesd.com.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Can you guys do politics on your